Hey guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you guys are new here. So if you guys can't tell by my Santa hat or my intro, it's another happy Hollow Thanksmas episode because in today's video, we're going to be reviewing the new Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Santa Village palette. So you guys want to see what this palette's all about? Is it a perfect Christmas palette? Well then definitely keep watching. Oh my god, guys, so not gonna lie, I am still pretty sick. It's taken everything I have in me to get out of bed and to film this video for you today, but I am determined to finish Vlog-O-Ween series. I have 2 days left. 2 days left, and we're just gonna power through it because I am determined to finish this series. So just thank you all so much for the well wishes. I am definitely trying to relax when I can, but my body's definitely like, bitch, you're sick. You need to be taking a break, but we're not going to listen to her today. With that said, guys, welcome back to another episode of Vlog-O-Ween. And I'm really sorry that like I haven't been able to post like really too much Halloween content. There's just been so many releases lately and so many brands coming out with Christmas stuff that like it's kind of overtaken Halloween for me. Especially because like I am now preparing for like Christmas with like my Christmas giveaways and stuff. I officially have I think 3 or 4 brands now working with me. Yay! It's still going to be a smaller giveaway this year because I'm doing the best that I can, but we're just going to make it work regardless. If it's not as big, that's okay. I'm still really happy to do it. So with that said, guys, this is the new Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Santa Village palette. Now, I don't know what this says. This is in a different language, I think. I think it's like in Finnish. That's a language, right? That's a language. I don't know. But this is the Santa Village palette right here. Now, this is the card that it comes with, and it says new Nomad Cosmetics Santa Village Limited Edition palette. The story. Dashing through the snow to Santa's village. Found way up in North Lapin, Finland, Santa's home is a magical place full of reindeers, prancing, and winter lights dancing. After frolicking in the snow, visiting with elves, and relaxing in traditional Finnish sauna, you can't help but to feel like childlike excitement for the most wonderful time of the year. The palette. Christmas cheer, a color story of making spirits bright, holiday mats, white snow, green fir trees, and Santa's red suit paired with, he would even say they glow. Sheer and shifty shimmers, perfect to highlight eyes, cheeks, and lips. The cause. We are so proud to support the Finnish Association for Natural Conservation that works to protect the Finnish natural environment and promote natural conservation. Oh, I love that. So this is Nomad Cosmetics' take on a holiday palette. And I will say, as much as I love all these Christmas palettes coming out, like don't think I don't. Like, do they have to come out during Halloween? Like, why couldn't everything come out in November? You know what I mean? Like, everything came out weeks before Halloween, and I don't know, I just wish that brands would have released this stuff at the beginning of November so that, like, it could really be Christmassy, you know, because it's not even Halloween yet, but that's just my personal opinion. So this palette is actually going to be launching on Tuesday, November 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This says that this is a very limited edition palette with very limited edition stock. This actually retails for $29. It's a 9-pan palette. You guys can use code Allie, which will save you guys 10% off your palette. So this is the Nomad palette right here. First off, I think it's a really cute packaging. I love the like little Christmas bows and like the little Santa. I don't know what that says. Like I said, I think it's in a different language. And then when you open it up, on the inside of the unicorn, it has like stars and stuff like that. And then this is how the palette looks. Very, very beautiful, like Northern Lights. Definitely has the feel of like a Christmas palette. And then you open the palette on the inside. This is the 9-pan color story. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I was initially taken back when I first saw the color story because like I, like you guys, like with the Lunar Beauty, thought that maybe this would be like icy winterland with like lots of whites and blues, some purples, like just like how you guys said that in the Nomad, just like you guys said in like the Lunar Beauty palette because of the outside packaging. I initially thought the same thing with this outside packaging, but on the inside you don't really have that. You do kind of have the Christmas colors of the red, gold, green, champagne, blues, greens, and like some multi-dimensional shades right there. So I'm sure it could definitely still really work. It's supposed to be more of like a Christmas palette and like Santa's Village than like a icy winter wonderland theme. So this is the 9-pan Santa palette right here. This is the 9-pan Santa Village palette right here. I'm actually really excited to swatch this. You guys know how much I love Nomad Cosmetics. I love their formula. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatches, and then we're just gonna dive right into the review. Okay, so here are the swatches. We have Rudolph, White Christmas, Peace, Santa, I don't know how to say that name, I'm so sorry. We have Fir Tree, Sauna, Elves, and Winter Lights right here. I'm not gonna lie, these shimmers did not actually swatch the best. They feel a little lackluster in the swatches. Like I'm not really getting as much pigment from them as I typically would from a Nomad palette, so I'm kind of wondering what that's about. But we're gonna have to kind of put them to the test. Now I know that they said this can be used as like a face highlight too, so not necessarily just for the eyes. It's like multi-dimensional, which I really do appreciate. So we might have to use glitter glue when working with these shades today, just so I can really get them to pop. So let me go ahead and zoom you guys in, and we're gonna try out this palette, and we're gonna see, so like a perfect Christmas palette. Okay, so I'm gonna try to like not do the same Christmas eye look that I've been doing for the last few Christmas videos. So we're gonna play with like the greens and like the blues. We're gonna stay away from like the gold and the red because I'm trying to do something a little different and not trying to do the same freaking look. So I'm actually gonna go into the shade Fir Tree, and we're gonna stamp on the outer corner and kind of work our way in. You know what I will say? This is something I just thought of. Like it's one of those instances where I am grateful that like I do this as a job, because when I used to serve at Disney, I was a third-party participant, just so you guys know. So I didn't call like this number and I would just get a point for calling out. That's not how it worked. It was like literally I called my manager. I was third party. I worked in one of the 4 theme parks, and I want to see if you guys can guess what park I worked at. I want to see if you guys can guess what theme park I worked at for 11 years. But I had to call my manager, and I dreaded calling out of work. It was the most anxiety-inducing thing, just like being on call, because you're either going to be called in for a runner shift or an all-day station shift, and I'm just like, oh my god. But literally I dreaded calling out of work, because sometimes they were cool about it, but sometimes, man, they would give you shit. Now this is all pre-COVID, so like now if you call out, there's nothing they can do or say because COVID, hey. But before, you would have to be like throwing up and having diarrhea before they'd be like, fine, you don't have to come in. You know what I mean? Because that's just how that place is at times. And I would dread calling out of work. I would have absolutely called out yesterday, and probably today. If I'm going to be completely honest, I probably would have called out today too. But if you start to call out more than like 3 days in a row, then they're like, oh, we're going to need a doctor's note. And not everybody's going to go to the doctor for like a sinus infection or a cold. Like people don't have health insurance, or people just don't want to pay the money to go see a doctor. And I completely get it. So you would be surprised how often like we would battle like what we were going through at work. So there was times I have gone into work like this, like no lie, and then I'd be coughing and sneezing, and you could just tell that I was not feeling good, running like a slight fever, and they'd be like, oh my god, go home, you're gonna get everybody sick here. It's like, well, I tried to call out. But don't get me wrong, I'll always like love that job. I'll always love that job. I have great memories from that job, and it gave me the life that I have. But it's one of those situations where like working from home is kind of nice, because like if I needed to, like I didn't have to film. I could have taken today off, you know, like a sick day, because I'm sick and I don't feel good, but I'm pushing through just like I used to do with serving. I pushed through with serving just because I needed to make money. Kind of like just reminded me of like the times that I was like really sick and I would go into work. I think the one time though I didn't want to have off is, oh my god, guys, there was this one day I had got laryngitis. Now it's been a big thing in our job that you're not allowed to call out on a holiday. You're never allowed to call out on a holiday. It's like that. Well, it was back then. That was a termable offense calling out a holiday. So we would never be able to call out unless you were like really like deathly ill in the hospital, emergency excuses, that was fine. But like just because you're sick, or so they say you're sick, like no, you at that point you'd rather go in, let them see you sick, and they'll send you home because then you're fine. But I remember I had this amazing station. It was two six tops and a 2-top, and it was during Thanksgiving week, and I was like, oh, your girl's about to make some insane money. I was so excited because I knew I was gonna make some really good money that week. The week of Thanksgiving is, not gonna lie, fantastic money at Disney. Absolutely fantastic money. So I knew I was gonna make a killing that week. I was so excited because I had that station 2 days in a row. I had it on Tuesday and I had it on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving Day, you don't make freaking shit. Okay, you don't make shit. But the days leading up to it, oh, the best money makers. So I was so excited because I had those 2 6-tops and the 2-tops. I had it on Tuesday and I had it on Wednesday. I was so excited. So I come in on my shift on Tuesday, and I knew that I had been feeling pretty sick, but like I was just kind of like fighting through the symptoms. I didn't have a fever or anything like that. So like, I knew that like whatever it wasn't like I was going to get people sick, and I didn't really have any body aches. I just had like really bad congestion. And I kept having like this like scratching in my throat. I don't know what was happening, but I just know that I kept kind of going like the whole day. Well, I noticed that throughout the day, my voice started to dwindle, and like it really started to disappear, where I was like legitimately losing my voice. And I was like, oh no, like losing my voice. I was getting pretty upset because I was like, no. So because like halfway through the shift, I'm trying to like communicate to my guests who are asking me about the dining plan and what's included on the dining plan, and I'm over here barely able to articulate a word because I am not even like, I'm losing my voice. I remember I was so excited. Well, halfway through the shift, it's getting like dinner rush, like around like 6:37. We closed at 8 o'clock then. Another clue. And I was so excited because I was like, ooh, we're gonna have a good dinner rush coming through. Well, my managers pulled me aside and said, hey, your station's cut. And I was like, oh, okay, are we like dying down? And they said, no, we're sending you home. And I was like, what do you mean you're sending me home? And they said, honey, you can barely talk. And granted, I did not have a voice. Nothing was coming out at that point. So they're like, we're sending you home. And I was like, oh, okay. And they go, and we went ahead and we got your shift covered for tomorrow. And I was like, no, like I was visibly upset, and I was like, no, because like that was literally going to be my moneymaker. And they said, no, sorry, like we're going to send you home. So I ended up going to the doctor and found I actually had laryngitis the week of Thanksgiving. So I had laryngitis. So I unfortunately was not able to work that station the next day, the big moneymaker, the day before Thanksgiving. And I had to unfortunately have off. So I had that whole week off because I was sick, and I was so upset because I was like, that's the one shift that I was just going to fight through. I was going to fight through that shift and be like, I'm going to make this work. What am I looking for? My mirror. I set my mirror down, just looked for my mirror again. Jesus. That was the one shift that I was visibly upset about, that I had to give it up. And then I would always hate it, like when I did have colds and stuff like that, I'd be like at work and my nose would be running, and like it would take everything in my power to be standing at the table, and I'd feel it coming down like this. I'm like, oh my God, like please don't come out right now. Like this is super embarrassing. I don't want people to see that my nose is running. And I'll never forget, it was at 2-Top. And this guy was asking me about cake, like how our chocolate cake tasted. And I went to tell him about the dessert, but I was sick and I was fighting a cold, and I had a cough, and I was trying not to cough so hard that day. And that guy was like, how's the chocolate cake? I'm gonna put some glitter glue down my eye. And I tried to tell him that I tried to tell him that the chocolate cake was delicious, but as I went to speak, all I could do was go like that, because I was struggling not to cough. And he saw me making that gesture. He's like, oh, is it that bad? And I just put my finger up and I said, 1 second. I went backstage and I like definitely coughed my lungs up, came back and said, I just choked on my spit, is what I said, because I didn't want to tell him the truth that no, it was delicious, but I'm secretly dying. All right, I'm gonna go into the shade Winter Lights right here. I will say these shimmers don't feel as soft as typically like Nomad shimmers do. They're not as soft, so I'm kind of don't know what that's about, but that's why I wanted to lay down some glitter glue, because I could tell by the formula that this wasn't as soft And as creamy and buttery as I like it, but the glitter glue is really helping to enhance that right there. Okay. Yeah, so that's just like one of the things I am at the end of the day grateful for, that I do this job, because like it will allow me to like have off if I need to, compared to like having to call work. I would get, like I said, the worst anxiety having to call and be like, I can't come in, I'm sick. Do you have a doctor's note? No. Are you gonna go see a doctor? And I would say, no. What are you gonna do? Go get some Pepto. Like, what do you mean what am I gonna do? Like, I'm sick. But, you know, Corey did tell me that it's different now because of COVID, that it's different. Like, people, like, call out all the time because they're sick, or they say they're sick. It is funny, though, because, like, Corey has told me that people call out now on the holidays and are like, I have COVID, like, during the week of Christmas, you know, even though they were, like, fine at work, but suddenly they're not fine. But, like, you have been seeing them trying to give up their shift for, like, 2 or 3 weeks prior. So you're like, you're just milking the system. I don't blame you. I get it. Okay, then we're going to go into the shade Peace right here. I'm trying to do, like, the Aurora Borealis. I feel like that's kind of, like, the look I'm kind of going for. I mean, this shade, I feel like this one's going to give me the hardest time, I feel like. Let's see, because it's not as, like, pigmented. I don't know, this blue is not giving me like what I want. Like, it's kind of like sheer a little bit. Do you guys see that? I wonder if I could spice it up. I'm gonna spice up this blue just a little bit because it's not giving me what I want. So I'm actually gonna go into the Michaela palette, the highlight palette. I'm gonna take the shade Starstruck, like this shade right here. I'm gonna see if I could add that to it, just to enhance it, because it's kind of like the same color. Just to kind of like tap it on top. All right, I'm gonna try one more thing, see if this works. That's looking a lot better. That's giving me what I want. That's pretty. Okay. Okay, so this is the look. I wanted it to be like, I don't know, Aurora Borealis style, and I feel like it's kind of like that, but like kind of not. I wish there was definitely some more blues in this palette to work with. Unfortunately, there isn't. So I'm going to do the other eye off camera. We're going to come back and we're going to do the inner corner together and the under eye together. And I'm kind of like you guys to know what I think about this palette, and is it like a perfect Christmas palette. So I'll be right back. All right, so now that is, okay, so now that the eyes are done, we're going to go back into the Fir Tree shade right here. And we're just going to lightly run that underneath our waterline. Put it right here. And I mean like very, very lightly. Okay, then we're going to blend that out with the white Christmas shade right here. We're going to blend that shade out. This to me is more like a transition shade, or like a buffer shade, because it doesn't really have too much pigment to it, but it's just gonna be nice to kind of lay this right here because it's just softly diffusing that green like that. But to finish off the eye look, we're gonna go in with my Jaclyn Cosmetics. This is the extra shade. This is their loose beaming highlight. We're just gonna take that, we're gonna put that in the inner corner and the brow bone today. I'm just gonna take this. I feel like this white shade would like really complement this eye look. So I'm just gonna take this and I'll put this right here. Now, I know you guys might ask me, like, what, like, topper did I use to complete the eye look? I just went in with the JSC Extreme Frost in the shade Gag Me. I still really like those highlighters, and I got them so many years ago. They're $50 a piece, man. I'm not about to throw those away, especially since I only use them for something like this. I feel like it really helped to enhance that eye look. So let me go ahead and do my lips off the camera, and we're gonna come back. I'm gonna give you guys my thoughts on this palette. All right, guys, and this is the final look right here. So what do we think of this? So first off, I have to say I absolutely love how this look came out. I think it's absolutely beautiful. It does kind of remind me of the Aurora Borealis. It does kind of give me that Christmas feel. I think it's absolutely beautiful. I love the way that this look. Now, I will say I really do like the outside packaging. I think the outside packaging is really cute, and this is what kind of inspired my eye look today. And then when you open up on the inside, you do have like those Christmas colors of the red, gold, green, blue. I do wish that the packaging kind of matched. I do wish that the inside story kind of matched the packaging, because that's kind of like the feel that I got. It didn't, but I can definitely understand why they have the colors that they do, because it is a Santa Village palette, so like I get why they have it. Now, I will say, I wish that there was more mattes in this palette than what there are. I feel like there are 5 shimmers and there's 4 mattes. And I feel like the shade for green performed very well. Like, it's a really beautiful, really pigmented shade. I really did enjoy it. But I feel like these shimmers, I don't know, they're not the same formula that I'm used to with Nomad Cosmetics. Nomad Cosmetics usually has like pretty creamy and buttery shimmers. These are pretty hard pan. They're really hard. I really had to dig in there to get it to apply to the lid. I don't know what was going on. This shade right here, while I think it's absolutely beautiful, the Winter Lights, I think it's a really beautiful shade. I did have to use glitter glue to lay it down. You could definitely see where it does kind of crack and flake just a bit on the lid. Like, if you look really closely, I can see it there. So that's a little unfortunate because I'm so used to Nomad having a certain formula that for some reason this one just felt very hard pan and not as creamy and buttery. Not the biggest fan. And then we have the shade Peace right here. The only way that I was able to even make this look pull off is by using another product to get this to be the color that it is, because this right here barely delivered any sort of pigmentation. I literally had to dig so hard into it to get it to perform, and it wasn't even still performing the way I wanted it to. I get that it's probably more of a topper, so you're supposed to apply it on top of a shadow, but even then, I feel like it's so lackluster in pigment that even if I put it on top of a shadow, you guys still would barely see it. And I want to have something more like this where it's more pigmented. So while I do think this is a really cute palette, I think it's a cute Christmas palette, it is definitely not my favorite palette from Nomad Cosmetics. I don't know what happened with their formula this time around. It just wasn't my favorite. It just wasn't my favorite. It doesn't spark like the true Christmas joy that other palettes have done for me this year. And yeah, I like it. I do. And I'm gonna play it again because I want to utilize this shade, but I think I'll probably more use these shades as like additional shades to like other palettes. Like, if you're looking for a really good Nomad winter palette, then I would suggest you guys look at the Nomad Snow Lodge palette. This to me is a beautiful winter palette. You guys can create so many different beautiful shades with this. The shimmers in here are so freaking good. They're so soft and creamy. They form beautifully. I feel like this palette is just like a complementary to this palette. Like, you can take the shades in here, you could take some of the shades in here and combine it with this to make the perfect like holiday winter palette. Like, that's my suggestion. By itself, it's cute. I could definitely use it again, but it's not as good as like the Snow Lodge palette that I really do love. So this palette does retail for $29. You guys can use code Allie to save you guys 10% off of this palette or any other palette at Nomad Cosmetics. This does launch on November 1st at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is limited edition, so once it's gone, it's gone. And like I said, I think it's cute, but it's definitely not my favorite palette from Nomad. I don't know what they did with their formula this time around. It just wasn't the same like this palette is. This palette's formula is so good. This one's just a little different. I don't know what happened. And I just wish that these shimmers weren't so hard pan and they're more creamy and buttery and vibrant. But overall, I do really like the look that I created. I did have fun playing with this, and I just wanted to thank Nomad for sending this my way. So yeah, guys, that is it for today's video, guys. If you guys enjoyed it, please make sure you guys give this video a cheeky thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you guys have not already, because I do post every single day in the month of Vlog-O-Ween. Sorry, my body's really starting to ache. Make sure you guys head over to my other channel. It's Art for Life, where you guys get to see my cool, wonderful adventures, my amazing husband, Corey. And as always, the biggest thank you goes to these beautiful, wonderful Patreon members you guys see right here. Thank you guys so much for everything. And to my subscribers and viewers, thank you guys so much for being here. Whether you guys like this video, you guys thumbs down this video, you guys subscribe, you guys did not subscribe. Either way, thank you guys so much for being here. I love and appreciate each and every single one of you. So with that said, guys, I love you, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video.